again, YouTube. Scott.
Hey YouTube.
Getting good at your.
I can't do it with the plectrum.
I need to not practice. That's why. Yeah. So this after doing the first part, which was we were just going to do one video, and it turned out to be 10 minutes before we even got to it. So now we're on to the
Les Paul. We're all
the
Gibsons.
the.
So that's actually a
So it's a dodgy lead. So every guitar I play
yeah, it's
is
a
going to
dodgy key.
have a dodgy lead. So let's right.
Yeah.
SG
2001.
10.
2010.
So
Yeah.
still get 9 years to go before it's vintage.
SG Warren, and it's one of the thin finish, the kind of open pore finish. I don't know if you can kind of see that.
Yeah.
It's matte. It's not shiny like a standard one.
Thin skin.
Thin skin, basically a thin skin nitro finish, and there's no binding on it. Hold on a minute. There's no binding on it, so
Aye.
I prefer it, to be honest with you, because it's a lighter guitar, because it's not got all the finish on it. If you feel the weight of it, it's actually quite nice and light.
It is, yes. I don't know. I mean,
It's quite nice, and it actually doesn't suffer from neck dive or anything like that either. And it's a nice bit of wood, but you can see that wood.
my theory on the neck dive is it's the tuners that always mess up. I keep seeing the Epiphone ones that have got Grovers and stuff put on them, and as soon as you put, because you're kind of, it's like a lever. You're like at the fulcrum points here, it makes such a weight difference. In fact, this one's actually got the thin tuners on it as well.
The thing about these guitars is that's the same, by the way. It's the same finish. It's the same thin skin finish.
Yep.
In fact, this is roughly the same.
But the only reason it looks different is because this is a maple top, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at the backs of them, I bet you they're both basically the same.
See?
Yeah. So basically, if you just kind of, if I kind of cover up this bit, you know, it's like it's
But
both
the
the same
thing
guitar.
about these guitars is just the weight of them.
Nothing.
They're a lot lighter than.
Yeah.
That's a studio. But
Right.
it's a studio something. It's a
Yeah.
slightly thicker
Is it-
studio.
is
It's
this-
very slightly.
Is it
thicker.
chambered?
No.
No. Why
I
is it so
think
light then?
I don't know. I think it's just light mahogany. It could be chambered. I can't remember.
I don't know, there's different. Is
Could
it,
be.
it's not, is it chambered?
But
Is
it's
it
nice
weight
and light.
relief?
And
Yes.
It's very resonant. You'll notice as well when you're playing it too. It really rings
Yeah.
out, and it's really loud as well for a Les Paul.
Yeah.
One of the things when you unplug a Les Paul, they can tend to be a bit quiet from the body end.
There's too much of it.
Too much
Yeah.
plastic. Yeah.
Is that a
Too much plastic. That's got no binding on it either.
no? But is it a wooden fretboard or
It's
is
a
it?
rosewood fretboard.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's definitely not rich and light or whatever you
No,
call it.
no,
No,
that's a wooden fretboard.
All right.
Same with this one. It's a
Very,
wooden
very
fretboard.
tight. That's I can see that's rosewood. This
Yeah.
one looks very dark. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's been
There
finished or
could be an
something.
ebony one on that one then. Because
Well,
that's
it's not
that's the
black, is it?
enhanced studio.
Studio.
It's a Studio something. When you look it up on the internet, it's a Studio HP or HX or something.
Right. Yeah.
High performance. When I bought it, the guy said he'd changed the pickup rings and stuff, and I said, right, okay. I never really thought about it.
Mm.
But when it arrived, it would have had silver pickup rings on it and silver knobs, and it would have looked awful.
Got you. Got you.
So it's been changed to black ones.
Ah. To make it look less like
Yeah.
the.
But I mean, it's spec'd out the same as a Les Paul standard. Same pickup, same pot, same everything.
I think originally, back when I bought my SG, in the mid-90s, it was basically the same. Like the same guitar. It's just like they put a different, same pickup, same everything. Just they put covers on the pickups and more binding and
Well, it's
more
plastic.
paint.
See, I don't really like the idea of
Yeah, we've been
plastic
talking about this
on
earlier on.
it.
It's like, do you want to add some plastic on your guitar? It's like,
Because when you look at the binding that's on electric guitars, in fact, I don't really have any guitars with binding on it because I don't like it.
no, I don't.
tend to
That's
avoid it.
quite a thing. When you say
Yeah.
you don't really have any, you
I
mean
don't have any at all.
you don't have any guitars with
Yeah.
binding on the neck?
I just don't like the look of it. It's like framing something lovely with plastic. I don't get it. And maybe I'm too autistic for this shit. Possibly. But even on the bodies, you get bodies with binding. You'll see I don't have any bound bodies either.
I saw one. There's a wee mini Les Paul
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
there is. And there's another Les Paul up the stairs that's got binding on it as well.
Yeah.
But I feel it's, I don't know, plastic, why? Eh?
Tone
See,
plastic though, not just plastic.
I don't know, see, if you're playing a Les Paul, if you pick up like one of the really expensive ones with the plastic finish on it, when you sit it in your knee, it weighs a ton to start with,
Yeah.
and then when you strum it, it's got a kind of a deadness to it. It's not resonant. You don't feel it against your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like with that one, you can actually feel it when you strum it on your forearm. You can kind of feel the guitar vibrating in your body.
Sort of, yeah.
You don't get that with.
Well, actually, do you want
Yeah.
the video we did probably last week? I'll swap my SG with its resonant body for your one with the plastic on it if you want.
No. But no, there is something to it. I think not only is it lighter, it's a more resonant guitar. And to be honest with you, I mean that's as much a Les Paul as any Les Paul I've ever played. It's even a.
But Slash doesn't play one this colour.
Slash is a dick though.
Shh.
He's a dick. Sorry, he's a dick. But he really is. He's an absolute arsehole. When you think about guitarists to choose, I mean, they picked that new guy, Jared James Nichols. Guys, the guy that smiles all the time is amazing. He's the new guy for Gibson.
For Gibson?
Yeah.
Don't know if I know him.
So Slash's last week news now, yeah.
Alright.
Jared James Nichols. Have you never heard of him?
No.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah.
I'll listen to music from the 70s anyway.
Yeah,
so
but no, I mean, it's as much. I mean, you can pick them up for how much? 600 quid, 700 quid?
I think you'll be surprised how not cheap guitars are just now. Have you noticed in the last... That's kind of gone off topic a bit, but you see, I was looking... The guitarist in the Black Sabbath band's looking for an SG, and I thought you could pick up, you know, your SG Special Faded or whatever. I used to see them all the time for 450 quid, and they're not that anymore. I mean, that's a £900 guitar just now. Like, and it's probably...
It probably is, I don't know.
No, it is. There's someone selling one of the tribute ones for 800.
That's quite a collectible. You'd have to restore it and put the silver stuff back on it, and it looks like shit.
Yeah. I'm just thinking you can't really get...
Yeah.
The guitars have gone mad the last year with this COVID-y thing.
I suppose everybody's picking up guitar and they're wanting to play guitar and stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't really know how it works. It's just I just don't know its prices seem to have shot up
but
ridiculously.
Buying Les Pauls, I would seriously look at something like that.
There's no mute on this.
Cable in it. No,
right.
With a decent cable in it.
Yeah, you put a decent cable in it. Yeah. But it is
it's a great guitar.
very nice, and it's really light for a Les Paul, although it is Les Paul shaped.
And it's got.
I can't argue that. It's a 2012, so I don't know how that fits into your. I know from some years they're meant to be pure amazing, and other years they're not.
Well, that's one of the good years, fortunately.
But I don't know. I mean, but what's the consistency like? I mean, it's like is the one that came off at are the other 10 that came off before this and after the same as it, or is it?
Other Les Pauls, I had a Les Paul standard that I absolutely hated. Just the neck on it was like a baseball bat at like a club, and it just horrible guitar to play. Right. And I've had various other Les Pauls, but between that one and a Tokai are my favourites. The Tokai's upstairs.
I don't think I ever want to see that. That's the one you told me you did not get duct tape and one sticker on one pickup.
It's a mess, but
he's not showed me that one because I would have puked. So keep keeping it hidden.
But I mean, I would shop around, but if you're shopping for a Les Paul, definitely look at something like that and try it next to a standard. Same with these. Try one of these next to the SG standard, and you'll find it's lighter and more resonant, and it's got the same pickups and everything, same frets, same everything.
And you're an overwrap guy.
Definitely. Do you know what it does? It makes a difference to the tension.
I don't think I've got any guitars. Okay, you did not done here, is you?
Well, because it's got a different shape bridge on it. That's got an arced bridge on it, so it doesn't really work the same way, unfortunately, because of the shape of the T-bar, the stop bar.
To be honest, I've got too many guitars. I never really got down to actually looking into.
Well, it changes the tension. It gives it slightly. Is it more? Makes it slightly stiffer, so it's a bit more like a Telecaster or a Strat. Gives it a bit more fight.
So I suppose technically the string is longer because it's having to wrap round.
Yeah. Well, it's something.
I don't understand how tension works. It definitely makes a difference. It
definitely makes a difference.
Because see, like if you put like I've done a strap with an upside down headstock, so the thick E is long.
One of the problems when you're switching between a Strat and a Les Paul or an SG between the scales is when you go to bend.
Yes, aye.
You overbend when you're on your SG or your Les Paul.
Yeah, but that's a different scale length. What we're talking about here is this bit here, right?
Yeah.
The vibrating length of the string has got to be at a tension for it to be an E, yeah?
But the angle of that also makes a difference to the tension of the string overall.
Right,
somehow.
yeah. Oh, no, somehow whatever it does beyond here and beyond here makes some difference somehow. I don't understand how.
It makes it nicer to bend from me anyway.
Yeah.
It's more like my Telecaster to bend, or like my Strat.
Yeah. I thought if you put 9s on a Les Paul or a Gibson was the same tension, like on a gauge, as 10s
on a Strat.
On a Strat or Tele.
We're going to find out today because these are all of the strings on all of the guitars are the same. I don't have any different sets apart from where is the purple thing?
This.
Yeah, that's got 10s, I think, on it, but that's for slide.
Alright, so what, these are all 9s?
9 hybrids, so that's 9 through to 46.
Alright, so basically it's
Top
10s,
heavy,
it's
top-
10s and 9s.
The top 3 are from a 10 and the top
Right.
3 are from a 9. So it's quite a nice balanced set of strings.
Not even noticed, I actually bought a set of, we're getting, got strings ordered for me for the Blitzkrieg shop.
Oh, right.
And he didn't order them, he forgot, and instead got 9s, so I bought a couple of packets of 9s and I just get used to them. I actually quite like 9s now. I've just been 10s forever, and it's always worth a shot. Same as what I was talking about picks earlier on. I bought picks and they gave me the wrong ones, they were much thinner than the ones I normally use.
Yeah.
Now I use the thinner ones because I don't know if anything's really better. They're not better. It's not me, I'm off.
Yeah.
Oh, this is me. Cool.
It sounds like an SG as well. It's got that SG attack.
Yeah.
What's that one? I actually think that's louder. Well, it's obviously different amps. Just
I know, but if you watch last week's video, where both playing the SGs, they both sound pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't sound the same.
No, that one.
Because I was saying it's amazing how you managed to get your 2 amps. That's a PV Bandit and that's a Marshall
something.
1x12 thing.
See,
And it's
normally,
how similar the two of them sounded with the 2 guitars, and then now they don't sound the same.
We can't do AC/DC riffs, can we? Because it would demonetise your video. Something like that.
I don't know, which AC/DC song is it? If you just play a generic... I'm noticing now that you've mentioned the strings are hybrids, I'm noticing that one bends much easier than what I'm used to.
Well, see, that I do a lot of those bends. You've got on these quite easily.
Added to the lick library, I will do that from now on all the time.
I suppose the thing about these guitars, they're very live, active guitars to play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instant.
I'm really amazed. I take it these pickups aren't the same as them, or are they?
Well, they are actually.
Because I mean, these guitars do sound totally different.
Yeah.
Whether it's getting picked up by that, I can't say. But
well, they are. I suppose it's that one's got a maple cap on it, and it's got the covers on the pickups as well.
the covers and the pickups might make the difference.
Yeah.
Seems to be much more distorted.
It's a louder guitar, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound it just now, but take off my Mojo.
Right, if you turn your amp down, it's not as loud.
I see the Mojo in the middle on that one. So they're about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's darker.
It's more distorted.
It shouldn't be either, because I've got all the distortion.
Yeah. Maybe just why SGs are better than Les Pauls. Maybe why I like them better.
It's got a fat ass. I don't like the ass on the Les Paul.
Yeah. I
It's
don't
a
know.
terrible thing
But
to say,
if you were to give me one of these as a nice present, because he's that nice, I'd take the Les Paul because
Do you know
I've got an SG.
Yeah, but it's actually a really lovely Les Paul
Oh,
to play though.
Oh no, if I was going to buy it, this is
Yeah.
the SG, the Les Paul I would want in the original Trade Tuesday where I was trying to trade up to get. So I want a Les Paul, basically one like this I wanted.
The strange thing about that, I took that into a studio and it was sitting with another couple of Les Pauls in the rack, and that was the one that kept getting lifted.
No.
That was the most popular, and there was a standard sitting there as well, so they were much it out punches its weight class or whatever. But I
Yeah.
think it's down to the stripped back nature of it.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, so much more.
So you're thinking a maple cap makes a difference?
Yeah, it does a bit. Yeah.
I never ever go into the tone wood debate.
But I don't go in too deep into it. But it does. Maple's different from mahogany, and it does sound different. And I mean, it does.
Well,
it
I've got
does.
West tone guitars. That's why
Yeah.
they sound like
It's darker sounding that. This is brighter sounding.
Yeah.
It's sharper sounding.
Is that because there's more of it? Because you think there's probably not that much difference in thickness if you didn't have the cap on this.
Yeah, well that one's
And it's a slightly different shape.
strangely enough slightly thicker than a normal studio.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
I don't know how that
See, I
works.
didn't know how that worked either, but yeah, it's slightly thicker. It's somewhere in between the two, or is it closer to a normal Les Paul? I can't remember.
I don't know. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a lovely guitar, and so's this. We need to get you a bit of weight.
Yeah. Maybe if I put the other end into
Possibly.
the amp, it might work better.
But I mean, I was going to say you can pick these up. These are bargain guitars, but apparently they're not anymore.
No, I just said they're not. I thought you could pick up an SG for 400. I thought something like that would be £500, under £500, no
Well,
problem. And you might be lucky enough to get one for sort of.
I was saying I would say you could probably pick one of these up for 500 quid.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
I would say about 500 to 600 quid for one of them.
I don't really look up Les Pauls, but I think you're more.
But maybe, I don't know.
I think you're talking.
But see, it's a real contender. If you're buying a Gibson Les Paul, have a look at it, check them out.
Yeah.
Don't be put off by the fact that it's a studio, because basically it's
It depends whether you want all the tone plastic and it does even have the tone inlays.
See, we're also environmentally friendly on everything else except guitars, and they want to put plastic binding around all of the guitars. No, let's save the world, shall we? Not have any binding on our guitars. We don't really need it, do we?
No.
I mean, and really, does it make any difference in the guitar apart from frame it in plastic? How modern are we?
It's like that thing in Game of
framed in plastic.
You watch Game of Thrones, yeah?
Yeah.
See the bit with the guy, what's his face? Not Terence Stamp, the head of the religious orders, talking about he used to make shoes, and people wanted to buy shoes that he'd spent 1,000 hours making. That was what was worth the money. The fact that you want the binding because that took time and effort to put it on, so you're enjoying the time and effort involved in doing that. Doesn't make any difference to sound.
No, none at all.
Making it sound, or if anything, it makes it worse.
Well, I believe putting poly on a guitar is like putting poly on a bell. If you put a poly finish on a bell, it won't ring anymore. If you put a stiff varnish on it like a nitro, it will still ring.
Yeah.
It kills your guitar.
I don't know.
And it kills the planet.
I like my poly finishes. I don't like being able to feel the grain.
Well, do you know that one's not too bad?
No, it's not bad. But I mean, if I had, obviously, it's not going to make me buy a guitar because it does have that. But if I've got a choice of two, and one of them is, I'd want one.
Yeah.
But it's the same with it. I like a glossy Strat neck as opposed to a satin one.
Yeah.
Every time, even though it's coated in plastic or whatever.
Get a mix up everything, but yeah. But I would highly recommend these guitars. I was going to call them my budget Gibsons, but maybe they're not quite so budget.
Well, they're not the budget for Gibsons. I just don't think you get cheap Gibsons anymore. I think some guitars seem to have shot up in price. The ones I'm selling don't seem to be selling, but it's like.
See, this is the thing. I could take that into a pub gig or any kind of gig, and not. I would be really upset if it got stolen, but it's not the end of the world because it cost me 550 quid, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As did this about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think when you're talking a couple of years ago, right? Or more than that.
Yeah, a few years ago. I mean, research them before you buy them though, and make sure that they've got all of the stuff in them.
And did you buy? I take it you didn't buy them online.
I did buy them on kind of. I went and saw the guitars.
But you went and saw them.
Marketplace, like.
No. When I say buy online, I mean order from and not get to try them first, because obviously you might even, no matter how good their quality control is, you might get out of the 10. One of them might be pure amazing, one of them might be pure rubbish, and the rest are.
I got that one cheap. I did. I mean, the guy sold it to me cheap, but it was set up so badly. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
It's one of these ones where that no harm to him. I believe everybody should, but he tried to adjust the guitar and he tried to adjust the truss rod and he tried to do all sorts on it. And it just went all sorts of wrong for him, and the guitar really was badly set up. It was terrible when I first got it, but I spent 10 minutes on it and it was like that. It was like
just knowing which bit to turn. I mean, the truss rod thing, turning a truss rod's not something you can't write down on a bit of paper how far to turn a truss rod. You've got to, once you've turned 100 truss rods, that's enough. It feels right.
But this had a bow in it, and it was terrible. Yeah. It was really high. It was awful.
Yeah.
So I got a real bargain with that one. But I mean, I would highly recommend a studio.
But that's the difference if you know what you're doing. I mean, it's got a tech, and I'm not really. But I know how to fidget with them. So it's like, you know, if you had to get it set up, you're talking another £100 onto it, really.
Oh, aye.
So it's like.
If you get something like guitar.
You got to play that up.
But it didn't really need that much done to it, fortunately. But
still cost you the full setup, whether they have to touch everything or not.
I got 2 Gibsons for the price of less than 1, as far as I see. As far as I see, if you're buying a standard, even a standard SG, what are they? £1,200 just now? Something like that. I was talking to Craig the other night, and he was saying he paid something like, I think he paid 700 and something for his standard brand new, about 6 or 7 years ago, and then they basically just went up £200 every year since then. Yeah, and I prefer these, to be honest with you. You don't, do you? Like the glossy?
I like the glossy. Yeah,
I quite.
But I wouldn't pay the extra. Yeah. I wouldn't pay the extra for the pickup covers and the binding. So mine's an older SG.
Yeah, I think this.
I just like mine because it's Ferrari red as well, because you don't very often see Ferrari red ones.
And this is the thing, I do like it that it's not bound.
I'd convert that into the Tony Iommi one. No, I couldn't. P90's in it. Lovely.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is no way we're even going to attempt to do this in one go. So that's 20 minutes.
No.
For the second 2 guitars, that's 10 minutes of guitar. Not too bad, and I think I will swap this lead over.
I think
So a couple of Gibsons. This has been Malco and Scott having a bit of a.
What is this? Can you see this?
A bit of a natter.
Yeah, it's a 2010. I can't even remember.
Yours is 2010, mine's 2012.
Or something? Did they call them Warm or something? It was a particular range that they brought out. Go look for them though. If you're looking for an SG.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're looking at, remember there was a big thing they did a few years ago when they changed the owners or something like that.
Yeah.
And then everyone got standardised in that era where they're rubbish. If you look online.
These are all from the good period too.
No, but that's what we're saying. I think these are from the rubbish period, as in the rubbish period. If going online is basically anything between the mid-90s and the new. I mean, how much of that's,
I don't know.
You know, getting sponsored and all that.
Yeah. See, the thing is, any review I've read of these particular ones has been sparkling, really good.
Yeah.
But I can stand by that.
To be honest, I've seen that. I've said that a few times. Obviously the West Tones, bought hundreds of them, bought hundreds of Strats, bought hundreds of Washburns. I've only ever bought my SG, and I just like that. I got the one I wanted when I was 19 or whatever it was, and I just kept it.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, if you've had it for your entire guitar playing life, it's a special. Yeah. Well, it's a special, but it's special. It's a double special.
Yeah, but I'd highly recommend these ones.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
No, it's very nice. I would definitely. I want to get the Black Sabbath back by one of them. It would be lovely. Yeah, so rock on and see you next week. So I'm getting good at this weekly thing. Yeah. Because I'm now doing fuzz Thursdays. Yeah. So I've got a fuzz. I did like 7 fuzz pedals that my pal gave me in a plastic bag. Yeah, so I'm going to run them out.
Of the week as well. I've got Telecasters, so you can do this. This can be Gib Sunday. I know you've got a Sunday, haven't you?
Oh, it's just Sunday Steam. Gib.
Because you get Fridays here. Fender
Friday. Telly Tuesday.
Strat Saturday, there's lots of options. Mate.
Strat Saturday. But do them all in one week? Pretty intense. Possibly. Rock on. Catch you all later. Cheers.
Oh.